Yes, guys, how you doing? Welcome back. Welcome back to the Spurs Talk Show. I hope you are all happy and healthy, doing the things that you love with those that you love to do them with. It's game day, guys. Game day at the Spurs, and it's going to be a tough day, isn't it? A tough evening ahead of us. We've got a lot to talk about, lots of news, lots of views. Interesting takes from Harry Redknapp. Interesting take from Mido around what the problem is at Tottenham with regards to the fans. We've got interesting takes from Jamie Carragher. We've got some transfer news, views, and clues for you. And we have it all to get down in the next hour and a half, I think. We'll see how we go. We are going to be on Football Inc. as well, guys, at 3 o'clock. Then I'm back here tonight for the watch along. I'm not going to do a watch along like the preview. I'm going to cover most of it now. Then I'll just go live at like 7:45 or 7:50 or something. And then straight after the watch along, we're going to have the instant match reaction show like we did the other night. It was 4 hours long. Madness went until 2 o'clock in the morning. I don't know if that will work on a Tuesday night, but it will certainly give it a go. How's everybody doing? I don't know if you guys watched the show last night. I mean, I've just finished clipping up a thing that's going out, a clip that's going out on the Spurs 5 now. Actually, I think it's just gone out now of Tel going absolutely like full chef mode on Lubo, on Johnny, and on Perchy, and on everyone that's been positive on the Frank train. I've never seen Tel cook like that. I thought it was absolutely hilarious. But at the same time, he was receiving the cooking back. He was getting cooking back from Perchy. Perchy made an absolute dream, like absolute haymaker when Tel said, when Lubo was saying these players aren't good enough. These players aren't good enough. And then Tel was like, yeah, well, that's not what you say when we win. And then Perchy comes in going, how would you know? You're never here when we win. I mean, that was the trigger. They got it going. He then turned his attention to Johnny, saying he's Johnny Hollypops, always on his holidays. And there's me sitting there catching absolutely zero. I've gone on silent. Absolutely zero strays for me last night. Love to see it. Guys, how's everybody doing? Listen, there is a lot of... I wish I had this video. Last night because Lubo couldn't answer a simple question, right? I love Lubo to pieces. We all love Lubo, right? He's just Mr. Inoffensive. He's calm. He's relaxed. He just sort of sits there and lets everybody else conduct the chaos. But I need to see some straight answers out of him. We're going to call him Lubonaut from now on. He's an astronaut who works for NASA. NASA, never a straight answer. NASA. 1 minute is Archie Gray is the next big thing. These players are superb. Lucas Berghvall. All of a sudden, we lose a game to Fulham and the players aren't good enough. So we were trying to work out last night. Lubo, are you saying that Fulham are a better team than Tottenham? And he doesn't know which way to go with it because he doesn't like getting put on in a hard answer. But I tell you what, I made a new jingle last night just for him.
We have a flip-flop. Everyone changes their mind like they didn't say that last time. We have a flip-flop, trying to erase the past. Well, buddy, you're having a laugh.
I love a jingle. And that one, I can't believe I haven't done a flip-flop jingle before. And it needs a little bit of work. I think the creativity. I'm going to try and use AI and to the beat, to the bit, to the rhythm. I'm going to get Lubo and a few other of the content creators to walk in holding giant flip-flops. If I can get that done. Absolutely sensational. But listen, I actually thought about it, right? And I was talking to my next door neighbour earlier on after I came back from Bugsy, the walk with Bugsy. And my next door neighbour's a Tottenham fan, Colin, and he was saying, what's going on? What's going on at Tottenham? And I was like going through the various points. Like it's not a clear, obvious problem. I think there's loads of problems. But I definitely think that, there has been a closing of the quality gap between teams from like 5th to 15th. Like when has there ever been a legit conversation? Cheers, Marshall. Good to see you, mate. By the way, guys, smash the like button. There's 200 people here, I think, or 180 or something. Just getting going. It's good to see you all. Please do smash the like button for me on the video. Really does help the channel. By the way, also, please double check you're still subscribed, right? Madness once again. Like the channel jumps up 50 subscribers, and then I wake up the next morning and it falls by 20. I don't know what YouTube is doing. Same thing's happening on Football Inc. It's happening on Spurs 5 as well. There's just loads like this. Unless people are just subscribing and then they go, why did I subscribe to that for? I'll unsubscribe. But it happens overnight. So it's very odd. It happens at like 4 o'clock in the morning. Maybe I'm losing the Australian subscribers. I don't believe so. I think there's a glitch. So please do double check that you are. Like every time you look for my channel, if you're a regular, just double check you're still subscribed, because the subscription thing is just bonkers. Anyway, I was just saying, like, I was telling Colin, my neighbour, about this conversation about, with Lubo and that, about like Fulham, Tottenham. And he said, that's not even a conversation, is it? And I was like, well, it never used to be. Like, when would there ever be conversations like we had with Henry Wright on Saturday night about a Crystal Palace combined 11? Never. Like, never, ever, ever in the last, I don't know. If I'm entirely honest, I'd say never, ever in my lifetime, from memory, would there ever be a conversation about combined 11s between Tottenham and Fulham that would have even, like, maybe 1 or 2 players, if there happen to be star players, like a Wilfried Zaha maybe at a specific point in time, or an Eze or an Elise, only at specific points in time when we happen to be, disproportionately weak for a moment in time in that area, and they happen to have superstars that are going to get sold anyway. Same with Fulham, right? Never has there ever been a situation where Tottenham wouldn't have 9 or more, 8 or more players in a combined 11, right? Traditionally, Villa, you'd put them in the same bucket. Nottingham Forest, for sure, you'd put them in the same bucket. I genuinely think now, like, the fact that there is a conversation to be had, whilst at the same time Tottenham Hotspur's squad is, in my opinion, is nowhere near as bad as some people who want to protect Thomas Frank would have you believe. I think that does actually legitimize this notion that every game is difficult, every team has leveled up, and some teams have regressed. And I think Tottenham are a team that's regressed. Obviously, losing Harry Kane, losing Sonny, the best versions of those 2 players were better than would get into any team in the Premier League. We haven't replaced them. But like with Fulham, I think you could make an argument this season that you'd have Kenny Tete. I wanted Kenny Tete, by the way. He was available on a free transfer. His contract expired at Fulham. And then they went, oh, fuck it, we'll give you a new one in July. But he was out of contract. So we could have got in there. We didn't. Forest were trying to get him. They didn't. But yeah, Kenny Tete, you could make the argument, is more balanced and a more consistent and reliable right back. Anthony Robinson, for me, would take him all day long. I used to really rate Joaquin Anderson from Palace fame. I still do. I think he's a quality centre-back, but I wouldn't have him over Romero personally, although Romero is incredibly inconsistent because he's got that concentration lapse thing going on. And I genuinely think that if you are a centre-back that wants to be thought of as top class, then it's not just about your athleticism or your heading game or your passing game or your tackling game. It's also about your concentration game. Same deal with goalkeepers. Goalkeepers lapse concentration once, it costs them, like what happened with Vicario. Strikers can lose concentration 10 times in a game, and then if they score on the 11th occasion and it's a 1-0 win, they get the man of the match award, right? It's madness, like the way it works. But the risk-reward is disproportionately skewed to one end of the pitch over the other. And so you need to factor in the mindset of the players at the back end of the pitch as a key core competence. more than you do at the top end of the pitch. In my opinion, it's always important, but it's more important at the back end. Anyway, so maybe you could have a conversation about Joachim Andersen. There's no chance that Calvin Bassey gets in above Micky van der Ven, but I like Calvin Bassey. I think he's a really solid centre back. No nonsense. He wouldn't play well in certain systems, but in Fulham's system, I think he's very handy. Move forward. Sander Berge. Debatable. Like Polinia, I think Polinia is better. I think he's a better 6. But Sander Berge for sure is a better passer, 100%, not even a question. And if you were to actually think about it, if Sander Berge was in the team, you could play Sander Berge and Polinia in a double pivot, and they would work a lot better than Bentancur or the current versions of Sarr or Berghvall, 100%, or Archie Gray. I think there's an argument for Chukwuemeka on the left wing above anything we've got currently. You know, so that's like five players in the team where there's an argument that Fulham's 11 is better than Tottenham's. Does that mean that Tottenham have got a terrible 11, or does it just mean that Fulham have leveled up a little bit and they're a team that still managed to scrape 15th in the league? I think that their team isn't that bad, whereas before it used to be this giant chasm of a vortex between the top 4 and the bottom sort of half of the table. Crystal Palace, I think you're exactly the same arguments, right? Mateta, Ismail Sarr, Munoz, certainly Gahey, Lacroix, you know. And Crystal Palace used to be a team that was like, oh, there's no threat there. Now, when Tottenham are playing Crystal Palace, I'm thinking, shit, that's a really difficult game. How do I get gifted those memberships that people give? Leo, you have to be one of the lucky ones. So if someone was to gift 5 memberships, then it just randomly gives them out to 5 people. Talking about new members, Justin Cobb's become a new member. Big up to you, Justin. Thank you very much, mate. Thank you very much indeed. I don't know if you're a puppy or a pony. I'm going to assume that you are a pony. Give you the sound effect. Give you the sound effect of love for that. Big up to you, my man. Thank you very much indeed. Appreciate you. Appreciate you very, very much. Let's have a look at the chat. Let's see who's in the chat, shall we? Samaritane is in the house. Poch in. We've got a lot of pain then to go. If we're waiting for Poch, you have to wait until next summer. And then also, he won't be finished maybe until August, will he? He'll want a break after the World Cup. So then, you know, are you going to keep going with that? Not sure. Not sure. It's game day. It's game day again, says G Mingu. 100%. 100%. Big up to you, my man. Big up to you, Marshall. I know you've already gone, haven't you? I think. The mic is a bit echoey. Is my mic okay now? Is my mic okay? Let me know. Let me know, people. Luke Ward has become a new member as well. Big up to you, Lukey. Big up to you, my man. I don't know what you've gone for, but I'm going to assume that you've gone for the... Well, I'll say ponies, but just to give you a different noise, I'll give you the puppies. Big up to you as well. Big up to you. Big up to all of you. It is game day. How would you guys... The mic's fine, is it? Cool. Big up to that. Tough match today, says AK Shegs. Yeah, it is. It's a tough match, mate. I don't. Another member's coming in. We're getting members. We're getting members today. Big up to you, Josh. Big up to you, man. Thank you very much indeed. What noise would you like? I'll do this one.
Got him. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
That's what I usually use when I've cooked someone or when someone's been cooked on a show that I'm on. But yeah, big up to you. Big up to you, Josh. Big up to you, my man. My face is fine too, bro. My face is far from fine. My face is far from fine. Fine from far, but it's far from fine. Let's see what is going on, skis. Let's see what's going on. So we got the so yeah, there's a Mido, right? Mido, ex-Tottenham legend. I love Mido. I thought he was a cracking player. He can have my interest music. Yeah, why not? I'll see if I can figure that one out. He said, he went on TalkSport and said, you know, it was all about the fans, right? Why are the fans unhappy? Why are they booing? Yada, yada, yada. And he was like, let's just bigger picture stuff here. When was the last time that Tottenham had a player that the fans really wanted to go and see? When was the last time that they saw there was a player at the club that was like, you know, catchy on the eye? And it's a difficult question, isn't it? Sonny's gone. Harry Kane's gone. There's no Robbie Keanes. There's no Jermaine Defoe's. There's no Berbatovs. James Maddison to a degree, but he hasn't really sort of been sexy with the way he plays football at Tottenham. So, yeah, I think that, I mean, maybe Xavi Simons is supposed to be that guy. And you can see glimpses of it, can't you? You can definitely see glimpses of his abilities. Oh, I went down the wrong hole. And for those of you that are saying, why are you drinking at 1:20? I've been up since 5 a.m. So, you know, got my work done. Anyway, big up to you, Futures Bright, Futures Lily White moderator, but Micky van der Ven when he goes on a run, yeah. We don't have it, do we? Ginola, what a player he was. What a player he was. Unbelievable. Unbelievable stuff. But Gareth Bale, another one. Well, we don't have these, do we? We don't have these players anymore. You don't have these players anymore. And I think it's a good point, you know. But again, I made this point yesterday, guys. I'm genuinely concerned. No one questions why you were drinking, Sean. We all do supporting Spurs. Yeah, some people do. Some people do. I don't give a fuck. Can care less what people think, to be honest. Size of that can, mate, says going to the gym. It is a big old gym, a big old can, isn't it? Listen, the thing is, right, is that I genuinely am concerned that the club is in such a perilous state of like toxicity. If I'm a footballer, I don't know if I want to go to Tottenham right now. Like, are you going to attract the players that could go to a team that's better? If you're a player and you want to go right now, you've got the choice of going to Villa, to Newcastle or Tottenham. Which one are you picking? I don't know, but if they're not a Tottenham fan, I think they don't pick Tottenham. I genuinely don't think they do. Maybe it comes down to money, but if they all can all offer similar sorts of money, and then if you're a player that also has the option of like a Liverpool or an Arsenal, then you're not picking Tottenham. Like, so Semenyo is never going to come to Tottenham, no chance, in my opinion. I'd be gobsmacked if he comes here. If he does, sensational stuff. Sensational stuff. I'd be like, wow, that's a really, you know, that's like a statement. But I think that there is just like, you know, this notion of like booing the players when they make mistakes. 10 home losses in this calendar year, 4 home wins in a calendar year in the Premier League. Like, it's pretty stinky. A manager that you don't know if he's going to be here or not. Yes, you might have the 6-star hotel thing that other clubs don't have at the training ground. Maybe that's a draw. But then if that is the draw, is that really the sort of player that you want if he's going to make a decision because he's going to have a more comfortable life at the training ground? I mean, maybe it's a draw. It probably is a draw. It probably is important. But I don't necessarily, if that's the deciding factor, then what does that tell you about the character of the person that you're signing? Are they entitled and things? Xavi probably regrets the move, Shegs. I don't disagree, mate. I think he's had a horrible time. But the one thing I would say is I think that the fans want to see more from him. Like, I don't think that he feels like the fans, I mean, maybe in the online space, some of the fans are like being critical of him or whatever. But, I mean, the fans were booing Thomas Frank when he subbed him off in that home game. I forget which game it was. Was it Man United? I forget. They booed the decision, right? And I'll tell you what, Thomas Frank as well, he's not endearing himself to the fan base, is he? He sort of doubled down, didn't he, on that whole... He was asked yesterday, do you regret saying that these fans are not true fans? And he said, I don't know. You know, they all think they're true fans. Some people work one way or the other way. All I can tell you is that we need them all. You know? I think what he should have said there was, do you know what? Look, there's a pressure, it's a heated environment. I shouldn't have said it the way it did. It came out wrong. I was thinking more about the protection of my player because I don't think it's the right thing to do. But I should not have called them not true fans. I should have empathized with their frustration, but encouraged them that it's not the right way to go about it. But, you know, sort of doubling down or not apologizing. You know, I think he's not endearing himself. I think he doesn't like being at Tottenham. I think he thinks the fans are donuts. I think some of the players think the fans are donuts. And I think the fans think a lot of this is donuttery on the other side. It's very, very fractious, you know, very fractious. But it has to be the team that gives the olive branch. The fans will get on side very quickly if you put in a good performance. They will, right? If Tottenham, I'm not expecting much tonight. We'll talk about Newcastle in a minute, how we're going to go about it. But I'm not expecting a huge amount out of it, like I wasn't against PSG. I certainly was against Fulham. I think I put down last night. You judge me all you want, but I think I said 4-0 to Newcastle. I think if they get an early goal, it could be curtains. You know, Frank is starting to hate it here, Louis. 100%. Yeah, I haven't had a donut yet, but I think there's a couple downstairs. What a load of shit. I'm not warming to Frank. I'm not warming to Frank either, Tom. I haven't warmed to him. Why is Romero so quiet? He doesn't speak English. That's a problem as well, by the way. For me, I think the captain of your football club, like Vicario gets rolled out every time that we lose a game. Vicario's like, he's clearly a leader in that he's not afraid to come out on camera. Even after his own mistake, he's more than happy to come out and be interviewed. I think it's that's definitely leader-esque. But his decision making on the pitch doesn't scream leadership. If you're a leader, you've got to represent kind of, rising above and being calm and considered, and rash challenges from captains look stupid. Bozo jeans on goalkeepers don't look like leader because you have to lead by example in not just your willingness to kind of front up, but also how you play football. Your captain needs to be one of your best players, needs to be one of your most experienced, most respected, and then someone that also has the ability to communicate well. And I don't think we have that. I think Romero can't communicate in English. I think that's a problem, right? He's been here 4 years now. 4 years. Is it 4 years? I think it's 4 years. Must be 4 years. Guy's been here 4 years and can't really communicate in English. Like that's come on now. I mean, Richalison's been in England about 15 years. And he can't really communicate in English either. Slip and Coy. I am doing a watch along tonight. Yeah, I am doing one this evening. And then, I'm doing a show afterwards. So, yeah, we'll see how it goes together, shall we? Sean, I watched a few tributes to Billy Bonds and Roof. Our squad will never have the heart we'd like to win like we did. 799 first team games. What an unbelievable legend he is. Yeah. Yeah. Great name as well. Yeah. Joe Blogs, 100%, mate. 100%. Sean, we need you at the club doing strategy and PR. No nonsense, clear-eyed and contrarian enough to challenge their own assumptions. I'm not sure if I'm clear-eyed all the time, mate. Do your talking on the pitch. I appreciate it. It's very nice of you, Gary. I don't think that's for me, though, mate. I don't think the club would want to hire me. But, yeah, I agree, Georgie. Let me get I think there's a couple of super chats here. I know they're all members. Oh, no, some Tim Wong started the Caps Fund has started the choo-choo train. Choo-choo train. We're on our way. We're on our way to the Toonland. We're on our way. Oh. That's it. Thank you very much, buddy. I appreciate you, Cap Fund. I agree. You would make them players buzz with that laugh. No, don't know about that. It gets very annoying. Rabbit hole ramblings. Not tonight, Josh. No. Sorry, mate. It will be tomorrow night, I think, instead. I'm going to squeeze it in tomorrow night because obviously tonight's football night. So it's not that they can't do, Rain. Hi, Rain. How you doing, mate? Not that they can't. They won't do interviews in English. Odebear has been in the UK for 3 years and speaks to the press in French. Yeah. I mean, look, I don't know. I mean, I lived in Thailand for 6 months when I was 30. And I only spoke 2 words of Thai. 2 or 3. I lived in Portugal when I was 18 for 5 months. Didn't really learn any Portuguese. I lived in France for a little while, for about 3 months, but I'd studied French at school, and I felt like I was very conversational when I picked up, and everything was just there. So I think it depends on who you surround yourself with and how you go about it, how interested you are in learning. I don't necessarily think that it's all about time, but if you have lived in a country for 4 or 5 years, then especially if everybody else in that country doesn't speak English or doesn't speak your native language, then, and like most people don't speak Portuguese in England, most people wouldn't speak Spanish, you know. But then I guess footballers, do they really have to go to Tesco's? I don't think they would they? They'd have someone else do that. You know, I'm not sure. I just think it is a go on, Mathys. Very bad. The Portuguese are our closest allies. I'm a Brit living in the States and still speak terrible English. Yeah. If you can't find a Helga, you should go to Pattaya. Yeah. Well, the last time I was in Thailand, I was doing a Muay Thai boxing camp for 6 months when I must have been 30, 29 or something, 30. Yeah, so I stayed away from the that side of Thailand. You know, it's a little bit, not really for me. I think like I always mess around with you lots talking about going brassing and, you know, Viva Street and stuff. I always muck around, but it's not really what I do. You know, nothing wrong with it, but Sean, so you ate horse meat and snails in France? I've eaten snails. I've eaten frog's legs. I don't think I eat horse. I wouldn't eat cheval. Cheval? I think it's cheval, isn't it? Odebear's been playing football for 20 years, but he still can't play it. Might get foreign accent syndrome. Mate, that is the funniest video. Guys, if you want to laugh, right? If you guys want to laugh, go to Rabbit Hole Ramblings. I'll put the chat in. Go to Rabbit Hole Ramblings. Right, it might not. The channel might not necessarily be for you. It's a conspiracy channel, but hang on. But there's a video on there. there's a video on the thing called me reacting to people with foreign accent syndrome. Here's the channel. Right, smash and subscribe if you don't mind. But go and it's fucking hilarious. It's so funny. There's people that have got this, like there's 150 people around the world that have got this syndrome where they've had like a migraine or they've had operation or they've had a stroke or something serious has happened and they've woken up and they don't sound like themselves anymore. There's a Chinese woman who lives in America, I think, and she had a stroke and woke up and now she speaks with a Jamaican accent. It's hilarious. There's an English woman from Plymouth who had a stroke and woke up and has now speaks with a Chinese accent. There's so many of them. It's absolutely. There's two people in England that have got it separately, and one of them's like an Essex geezer who woke up and speak with an Italian accent. Hey, it's a club. And there's a blonde woman who's about his age, maybe a bit younger, who had a stroke or something else, and she woke up and she sounds like she's from Russia. And they got together because they sort of suffer alone in their with their problems. And then the Italian English Essex guy starts like macking on, like flirting, going, "You have a lovely accent. It matches your beauty." She's like, "Oh, stop! You are embarrassing me." Foreign accent syndrome is fucking hilarious. Yeah, so go and check it out. Please go and have a look-see and subscribe to the channel if you enjoy funny but also conspiratorial sort of content. We do it all the time over there. It's so much fun. So much fun. Anyway, let's get back into this thing. So Jamie Carragher, right? Jamie Carragher has talked about Marco Silva coming to Spurs, and also I'm not sorry, he's talking about Rafa Benitez as well, was perhaps a man not to come to Spurs, but a manager that he thought was the best of players managers that didn't really make it at Everton. But he said on the latest episode of The Overlap that Everton should never have sacked Marco Silva, and he can see him managing Tottenham. He said, "I actually think he was the one manager Everton should have stuck with. You know what? When Everton kept sort of changing manager with Mashiri and the owner, he was the one I sort of liked. I've always seen Silva at almost Tottenham. I'm not saying Tottenham as in change Thomas Frank and put Silva in. The point he's trying to make is like to go from Fulham to like a Liverpool or a City to try to compete for the league is like a bit of a step too far. But just below that level, like an Aston Villa, a Tottenham and Newcastle, that would be his next step. Because Silva has done a very good job at Fulham, right? He's established them as a proper Premier League team for me. He was supposed to join Al Hilal in the summer, but that move didn't materialise. He's been linked with Tottenham. He has been linked with Tottenham. He's been linked with Tottenham before Thomas Frank. I don't personally want someone like that. I want someone who's going to come in. Big up to you, Lisa. Good to see you. Good to see you. Yeah, it's funny, wasn't it? Funny video that was. Hey, this is a club, this is a voice, this is a voice, this is not how I used to speak. Accents are fun. I watch Australian true crime shows and then try to copy the Aussie accent. Listen, Tango, mate, the only difference between the Australian accent and the English accent is the inflection at the end of every sentence. So it kind of sounds like they're a nation of people with amnesia, you know? Like when they say, like, I went to the pub last night, and you kind of go, are you telling me or are you asking me? I don't know whether they went to the pub or not, at least according to the way they sound. I don't know. That's how I see it anyway. That's how I see it. Apart from that, Aussies and English people are like entirely the same. It's just one of them know what they did and the other people aren't quite as sure. Every statement is a question. 100%, James. I spent the happiest 3 years of my life in Australia. I love Australians. Great place. Great work-life balance. Even though I'm how out, not for Marco Silva, says Sniff. Yeah, look. Not I wasn't really trying to do the Australian accent. It's more just, you know, mate. How are you going? Also, they say going rather than doing. And they also put the word "but" in the middle of a sentence or at the end of a sentence. I think it's supposed to replace the word "though." Yeah. Oh, it's not so good here. It's good over there, but. I'm like, but what? What are we saying here? What are we doing? Oh, listen, Kiwis. Kiwis is I haven't practiced Kiwi. I've never done Kiwi. But no, yeah, you know. No, listen, right. If you're going to do the South African accent, right, talk like this. Now, I'm not carving you up, Joe. I'm not carving you up, mate. It's all love. It's all love. I do love Australians. What did I get to? We've done the Jamie Carragher story. Let's have a look at this one. So we got this story about Kolo Muani's future, right? Former Bordeaux left-back Benoit Tremoulinas has now asserted that Kolo Muani has no way back at PSG whilst Enrique is still at the club. Tremoulinas told L'Equipe about Kolo Muani. Perhaps he's realistic now about how he's arrived in the squad he joined. Maybe the style of play of the Paris Saint-Germain under Luis Enrique didn't work with Kolo Muani. However, what we can say about the player is that he has always had an impeccable attitude. Even Luis Enrique and his staff said it in every training session. He gave it his all. He trained even harder, while many players would have given up. He used injuries, or they would have used injuries as an excuse to leave. He never gave up. So what we can hope for Randall Kolo Muani is that he simply gets back to track elsewhere, or back on track elsewhere. Could he return to PSG while Luis Enrique is still there? No, I don't believe it. I don't believe it because Luis Enrique has a well-defined set of players in his system, and Kolo Muani isn't one of them. So there's no point in hoping for anything. Let me ask you this, guys. Do you think that has Kolo on ya? on ya, Shawnee? The Kolo Muani thing, guys. Do you think that Kolo Muani is a player that I would keep Kolo Muani? I've seen enough out of him. I know, obviously, I want to see more. He's been injured for most of the season, but I think he's a very, very good player to hold the ball up. I think he can handle the physicality. he went toe-to-toe with that absolute unit, Calvin Bassey. I really rate Kolo Muani. I really do. I think he's going to be... he hasn't got a good mask, has he? I think we should keep him if we can. Muani, it's a yes for Georgie. Big up to you, Georgie. Good to see you, mate. Good to see you. Muani's yards better than Richie, says Mike. Yeah, 100%. I 100% agree. Right? I think he's awesome, and I think he'll thrive in the Premier League as well. I'd like us to make that one permanent. But if we make that one permanent, does that then change your mind, guys, about going for another striker in January? You know, obviously we'll replace Richie in the summer after the World Cup, I would imagine. I don't think he's going to sign a new contract. I couldn't understand if we got on board that. Daryl's saying, love the show. You doing any more ramblings down the rabbit hole? Yeah. We're just not doing one tonight, Daryl, because the football's on. So we're moving it to tomorrow instead. But I don't think Nikos can join us. So it will be me, Eugene, and John, I think, and then maybe Susie as well. And then maybe we'll bring someone else in as well if they want to come into the chat. But yeah, I think Nikos is otherwise engaged tomorrow night. But yeah, Kolo Muani is, for me, I think he's a really handy player. He's got lovely little feet. I think he's going to score goals. I think now he's getting up to full fitness. It just makes it interesting, right? How do you go to, how do you play at Newcastle tonight? Do you go back to a back three? I don't think so. I think Tottenham will probably do something similar to what we did. I think the sort of 4-2-2-2 or the 4-4-2, whatever. I think that's probably how we're going to go at it again. I personally would go with Vicario in goal. He's not going to drop him. He's already said he's not going to drop him for Kinsky. I think you'll play Destiny Udogie at left back. I think you'll play Jed Spence at right back. And I think you have Micky van der Ven and Romero. And then I would imagine we will have Kolo Muani and Richarlison up top. And then in the midfield four, I would probably expect Kudus, Palhinha, and then of the other two, I would go for Berghvall and Sarr personally. But like I say, I don't think there's much to choose between any of them. I don't think there's. Let me get this thing up. Much easier to do it on the screen, isn't it? Right. What would I do? I would probably go. Well, that's quite cool. Does it all for you almost. I would do this, and then Palhinha with. See, I don't mind if they give him another chance, Archie Gray. Or if it's like this, I'm not sure. Because I think at times when we have the ball, we're like this. But I also think we can be a bit like that as well. And that's fine with me. But if it's not him, if it's not Archie Gray and it's, say, Pape Sarr, that's fine with me. But in that case, I would do that. I would have Pape Sarr more advanced. Or if he wants to bring in, not Palhinha, if he wants to bring in Bentancur, I don't personally like these two together, personally. But I don't think they're the root of the problem. The root of the problem for me, in terms of conceding goals, is always down here and down here. Right? We get pinned back like this. And then he drops back. Let's say it's him. We sort of do that when we haven't got the ball. If it's Pedro Porro especially, this happens every single time. The players, let's imagine, hang on, I'll bring that up here. So we start to do that, right? That's the way it should be. But obviously it gets a lot deeper. I'm not sure how deep these things will allow you to go. So it becomes like this. And then if it's Pedro Porro, the problem with Bentancur is whoever's playing in that role, these guys come over here to help Pedro Porro out against a one-on-one guy. and then they just pull the ball back to the area here where Kudus is, and then there's ample space to score goals. We've conceded so many goals this season because we don't have a man that is sat there. Just be like that, right? If you've got to become like, oh, hang on, that's a goalkeeper. If you have to be like, blocking it out like that, that's fine. But you have to have a guy on the edge of that D. And the amount of times we don't. The problem that they fear is if Porro gets beaten and then the opposition player gets around the back of Pedro Porro, comes into the edge of the box down here and then whips it back or has a chance to shoot on goal, there's problems that way. So I understand the narrative of putting someone else over here like that in that scenario, or sometimes two people. But you have to have someone there. You absolutely have to have at least someone there. And that's not so much of a problem if you have where is he? Where's my man? Where's Jedley King? Jed Spence on the pitch. He can handle it by himself a lot better. If he does get in trouble, then obviously, we can. We've hopefully still got the trouble. Why is Danzo on the pitch, by the way? Where's Christian Romero? Should be like that. Sorry. Romero's back now, isn't he? But yeah, look, to me, I just feel like something like that. If it's going to be a 4-1-2-1-2, I'm absolutely fine with that. He can press. Sarr can press as well. Kudus can press. If he wants to make it a 4, like a flat 4 as well, that's more than fine as well. But these guys have got to push up. They have to push up. Udogie's got to support. Jed Spencer's got to support. I just always find it weird when I see Palhinha the more advanced of the two double pivots. But Kolo Muani and Richarlison for me are absolutely the right choices tonight. I don't really want to see us go one man at the top. And I'm sorry, Xavi Simons for me doesn't get to start tonight. I don't think, not against Newcastle. I think he'll be useless. Let me know your thoughts on that one, guys. Let me know your thoughts, and I'll come back into it in a second. What's Sheg saying? If Spence comes in, then surely he's got to start Xavi. Not sure about that. My team, Jed, VDV, Danzo. Oh, so you're keeping Romero out of the team, Jimmy, are you? What's that for? Just because Romero was only injured. He wasn't injured. He was suspended, but he's back now. So you want to drop Romero just because you prefer Danzo? Problem with Danzo is he's very good defensively in the box, but if the ball's in open play and in flux, he can be a real sloppy with his pass. The first goal that we conceded against Fulham, it started with his really sloppy defensive header. It was going nowhere. The ball was just put over the top, and he sort of just headed it down, and it went behind Berghvall, I think. I think it was Berghvall. And then they pick the ball up and then whip it, and then the rest is history. Anyway, so who else you got? Udogie, Palhinha, Bentancur, Porro. So you're playing Porro right wing. Xavi, Kudus, Muani. Wait, let me see that. How's that work? So you're going 3-4-2-1. And you're saying, wait, let me see that. Wait, what you got there? Jed, Van der Ven, Danzo. Who plays in the? Who's on the third? Who's the third centre back? Oh, Jed. Jed, VDV, Danzo. Okay. So you're saying? Is this what you're saying? Where is he? Where's he always hiding? Like that. And then Porro, Udogie, Palhinha, Bentancur. And who's at the top for you? Kudus, Muani. Who am I missing? Like that. Okay, I think that's what you're saying. Something like that. No, I don't hate that either, to be honest. I don't hate it. I would like to see it as long as you're giving Pedro Porro the instruction to get forward. You know, it'd be interesting because I don't think that what's his name is playing tonight. I think Sniffer was saying the other day on the Football Inc. that what's his name, Anthony Gordon isn't going to be playing. That Anthony Gordon is going to be dropped for Harvey Barnes still. I mean, how cool is that for them? Good luck for the match tonight. Big up to you, Red Rebellion. Is you a Liverpool fan, is it? Liverpool? Yeah, Liverpool. Big up to you, buddy. Thank you very much. What the hell did we buy? Why the hell did we buy Simmons? To be honest, mate, we have to absolutely relax a little bit on Xavi Simons, right? He's not playing. Something's happened in our Spurs 5 group chat. Someone's just left. I haven't seen what's been going on this morning. I haven't looked into it, but obviously it's there's trouble, arguments galore. That WhatsApp group chat is so spicy. There's only 4 of us in there. Oh, there's 5 of us in there because Perchy's a member as well. I've never seen so many arguments. You like that lineup? Yeah. Listen, I don't. Who was it who suggested it? Forget who it was. Big up to you, Marky. I don't mind it, but I don't think we haven't played. We played one version of a back 3, and that was against Arsenal, and it wasn't a back 3, was it? It was a back 5, and then we didn't get out. We couldn't get out at all. You know, I actually think we played fairly well. I know this sounds crazy, but I actually think that apart from the first 8 minutes against Fulham, I actually thought we played fairly well. Like, I think that we were terrible. Like, most of the first half will be remembered because we were 2-0 down. But the game was still in flux. It was still open. But when you go 2-0 down, you have to come out and throw more caution to the wind. You're chasing the game. So Fulham could obviously counter and break. But they weren't exactly... It was a good game of football. Like, apart from the fact that it was... apart from the fact that we lost and we were 2-0 down, starting with like a handicap, I actually quite enjoyed the game. Similarly, like, I really enjoyed watching the PSG game. I thought it was a great game of football. And part of my demands as a football fan, especially for a fan of a team that isn't going to win the Premier League, isn't going to win the Champions League, entertain me. Entertain me, you know? What's Scott M saying? Big up to you, Scott. He says, the back 3 only worked for Udogie and Porro. Not sure why we should be using tactics to fit 2 out of 11 players. Well, listen, I tend to disagree a little bit. Here's where I would disagree, Scott. I don't know how much you watch my channel, but I definitely think that in Micky van der Ven, you have a tool that is capable to be utilized more often. And if you play in a back 4 and you play him on the left side of a back 4, then it's too dangerous to allow him to carry the ball out. For every time he does something like he did against Manchester United a couple of seasons ago, or against Copenhagen, there's going to be times where he tries it and he gets picked off, and then everyone's caught out of position. He tried it against Chelsea and he got picked off, and we conceded the goal. He tried it against Manchester United and he got picked off, and if it wasn't for a blunder by Mbeumo, then we would have also probably been in a real problem. If you play him on the left-hand side of a 3, then I think that you can do more with that regard. You can allow him to go, because if he does get picked off, you should, just by the proxy of having additional people here, especially if one of these guys is still going to be... This is obviously... He's going to do that in situations where either you're getting pressed, he can beat the press and then go. Once you beat the man-to-man press in football, if one person beats the press, then the whole press falls apart, right? Because then the next guy has to leave his man, and then the next guy has to leave his man, and then you can do 1-2s if you're clever and you know how to utilize and you understand each other's wavelength. It takes someone to beat the press for the press to fall apart. That's why, like, the press is... It looks so good if it's effective, but it is exhausting doing it. That's why teams always tire in the second half if they've been doing it for the entirety of the first half. That's why Tottenham, I knew, were going to struggle in the second half, because they pressed PSG so well, and PSG didn't press us. But yeah, so you can use him in that regard. So like Udogie can be better off in a back three, and Pedro Porro is better off in a back three. I hear you about these players here. I hear you about Palhinha, Benson, Kudus, Simmons, and Moani. Like, what's the benefit for them? There's no real benefit for them. But Micky van de Ven can certainly be used more. It also allows, if you're worried about Palhinha's inability to really pass the ball, then it would allow you to do something like more with a Berghvall, who's also not great with the passing, but he can drive with the ball, get the ball here, pick up the ball in the pocket, and then drive and hopefully offload to one of these two for in this scenario, these particular players in scenario. It obviously allows Porro to get forward, but then you have to then choose. For me, what I would be doing would be playing Danso on the right, and I would play Romero in the middle, because Romero can then either step up into that role, and then you don't even necessarily need to have a Palhinha. You could have a Pape Sarr and a Berghvall pivot, right? And allow, if you were playing like the way Crystal Palace would play at home against the team they would expect us to beat, they would still play a back three, but the Romero role becomes a DM in possession. And Romero is one of the best passers of the ball that we have, probably the best pass for the ball that we have, which is crazy to say. Maybe Pedro Porro on his day, but Romero is very, very good. So you can sort of step up in that regard when you have possession and allow other things to materialize like that. Or you can allow Romero to be on the right-hand side. These two could interchange, and then Danso just becomes more of a sweeper and let these guys step up and become more involved. So I think that the back three model doesn't just help Udogie and Porro, Scott, in my opinion. I think it absolutely helps other players, but I take your point that it doesn't help everybody. Like if you're a midfielder and you're working in a back three and you're under the cosh, then you don't get to have this. Like there's no one around you to interlink with. Like Xavi Simons isn't going to benefit from a back three system, 100%. But that's the conundrum, isn't it? Yeah, so I do rate his ability to progress the ball with his runs, mate. But I'm not saying it's for everyone, because I've seen him fail 4 times this season trying it, and he's only succeeded once or twice. He did it for Holland as well. But in Holland, he's playing as a left winger, right? So a left back. So that's the other option, right? Okay, I just think I sit there and think that we don't utilize our squad, right? I think that the other option is, of course, to go to a 4-4-2, and if you were to put him. I mean, I would be using Jed Spence in that regard. But if you're going to do that, you absolutely can't have Danso on the left side of a back four. So I don't think you can ever use Micky van de Ven as a left wing back, a left back, until you get a player like you put him in there, right? And suddenly Jared Branthwaite in there, and suddenly you've got unbelievable balance, right? And then you can do all sorts of. Then you can get really creative. You get super creative. Then Udogie can be benched. You bring in someone like this guy. How do I do it? Kaloglu. Yeah. Go and get me that geezer from Inter Milan. Tottenham can cook. Right? Tottenham could cook with I don't know. Like I say, I still think we're well short in the midfield, but and then you can do things, right? You could do a lot more. On the right wing, you obviously have Kudus. Where is he? And then on the left wing, maybe you could go and get yourself a player that I really rate, although I'm very conscious of the fact that he might be a bit of a donut. And then if you could go and bring in, I don't know, a striker, or maybe you don't even need a striker. Maybe you can just do this. You know? I mean, that team to me looks fucking scary as hell. Scary as hell. Or you want to put Palhinha back in there, whatever. Whoever you fancy. That team to me looks scary as hell, right? Because Micky van de Ven can then do those things. I also do hear the notion that you're going to stress his hamstrings and all that shit. But ultimately, if you're never going to use him for one of the valuable assets that he has, because you fear he's going to get injured, then he doesn't really have that valuable asset in the eyes of the coaching staff. So you might as well sell him for 100 million quid. And then just go and get a rock star centre back that's just going to be used for centre back purposes. He's got an unbelievable core skill and competence that I don't think we take advantage of enough. I'm not saying that he should play left back. I'm just saying that there's a skill that we're not using, and you can't really use it in a back four with him on the left side, because If he gets picked off, you're toast. But I think we should be allowing him to run with the ball a bit more than he does. I think he's a class player. 4 at the back with Ben Davies playing as a defensive LB. Let Porro play right back, but push on. How can I be asking for Davies in 25 or 26, Maisie? Yeah. Is he fit? I don't even know if he's fit anymore, is he? Got no idea. I've always rated Ben Davies. Not like rate him. Like, don't get me wrong, but I've always felt like he doesn't really let you down. He's never going to do major things. He's never going to pop up with too many goals and stuff, but he's just steady, isn't he? He's a steady player. You know, like if he comes off the bench because there's an injury, it's not like, oh, fuck, who are we going to put in? We've got to bring a centre-back out, you know. Hugo Larson. Oh, yeah. Talk to me. Imagine those two next to each other. Yeah. Love that. Love that. Again, you go and get me those two, right? Or you go and get me a Locatelli, which I know everyone wants. Suddenly you can control the tempo of the game, right? Suddenly this guy, Simmons, can come alive because he's going to get support from one or both of these guys. This guy on the left-hand side gives you the space. This is one of the things. Oh, what's happened to my computer? Why is it frozen? Here we go. Right. At the moment, we're predictable because every time we get the ball, we give it to this guy, right? And then he slows it down for me too much. He's too selfish. He's like the selfish kid on the playground. He doesn't pass the ball until he absolutely has to. But he also gets double man marked out of the game. Chelsea man marked him. Not Chelsea. Was it Chelsea? Yeah. I think Man United did as well. And it's 2 men on him all the time. You get a guy like Lookman on the left-hand side, and he's not going to cost you a fortune, by the way. He's like 35, 40. I know he might be a dickhead. I know he might be trouble. I don't know about that sort of side of his game, but obviously you hear rumours. But suddenly you've got double threat. There's an as equal a chance of the ball coming to the right and to the left. And then when that happens, let's pretend that these back four are the defenders of the opposition. So Kudus will be coming down here against the left back. This guy has to decide, can I handle Kudus by myself, or do I need to ask for help from Jared Branthwaite in this scenario? Or if not him, then from Locatelli. And in that scenario, Kudus just hands it back to the right back, say a Pedro Porro or Jed Spence, who can either smash it across to the other side, which will be Ademola Lookman, and then he'll have space, or he can put it into Simmons. But if you've got someone who can switch the play in your middle of the park, and you're just as quick at getting it into Kudus's feet as you are getting it into Lookman's feet, then if the door is closed by Kudus, just hand it back, and then either there'll be space for Simmons because the centre-backs will have moved across like this, and then Simmons has got space to be able to work over here into this pocket, or you send it across to Lookman. I don't know if I'm making sense by using the same 11 to talk about the defence and the offence, but I should probably get a whole tactics board up. But having dual threat, think about Brighton, right? Brighton are a great example. They haven't got world-class players on their wings, but they have got Minte, who's unbelievable, and he's a very, very top player, a sort of player that we should be able to go and find for ourselves, that sort of standard, and Mitoma. Crystal Palace have got wonderful balance down their left and their right. Nottingham Forest have got good balance. Newcastle have got good balance. Tottenham don't have any balance. And if you have balance, it means you're unpredictable in the way that you switch. And then if you're unpredictable in the way that you switch, then it means that the defense don't have the ability to double man mark because they're going to get played out into space afterwards. It's not rocket science. Tottenham go and get a top left winger, go and get a better right back in terms of defensive balance to stop those stupid defensive areas where the ball gets hit across the line to the edge of the D. And Tottenham can elevate themselves. Then you get some good performances, you get some good wins. The fans get back on side. They start to believe again. Then there's less pressure on the players. The players are happier. They feel that they've got the 12th man momentum. We start to get some home wins. It can all change very, very quickly. But at the moment, we are walking into headstrong wins, headwinds. Couldn't think of the phrase, headwinds, because there's no balance in the team. There's no confidence in the system. There's no stability in what we're being asked to do. And what results is just negativity after negativity, and it's a vicious sort of cycle of poor outcomes that ultimately always lands in one way. The manager gets sacked. We start again. We have a few games of optimism, thinking about, what's this guy going to do? We all have something to talk about. Meanwhile, every other team that has a little bit of stability just continues to improve because their team knows what to expect. The players that are there have been playing with a certain manager for a while, and it's you're getting left behind because it's not just a game about what you're doing, right? Tottenham can improve. They can go through the shit show again. We can start again, start the cycle, rinse, repeat. I'd take Min in a heartbeat, Rob, as well. He's quality. He's really quality. You want Xavi the manager? Xavi Hernandez, is it his name? Let's get real. There's 0 to no chance we're winning this. No, I agree with you, mate. I said 4-0 to Newcastle last night. I feel like a bit dirty saying it, but I genuinely think that we're going to get turned over. If we concede an early goal, I think it'll be trouble. Maybe 2-0 was a more realistic. I'm not sure we're going to score, but I'd love Kolo Muani to get off and running. I think he's a real danger man. I think Kolo Muani can handle Sven Botman if he's playing. They're dangerous from set pieces, right? They've got Big Dan Burn, they've got Joel Linton. They've got a massive team, haven't they? A massive team. That's one of the reasons I'm sitting there thinking, do you play Xavi in this sort of game? He's just going to get men versus Boyd. Xavi the manager, yeah. 3-2 Spurs, says Jason Foster. You've been drinking, Fosters. Is that why you're getting cocky and confident? Let's have a look at the Newcastle team. Newcastle last played against Everton. That Malik Thiaw as well. They've got Malik Thiaw, haven't they? Who's just started. I love Malik Thiaw, ex-AC Milan guy. I mean, look at this. Look at this for. Let me share the other thing. Right. So, is it on the screen? No, of course it isn't. Voltamade, like her scary player. What he did to us in the cup game, just controlled that space when we had the ball and we're going at them. He just could pick the ball up. He's got lovely feet, knocking it into the very informed Harvey Barnes. Anthony Elanga's taking a little bit of time to settle, but he's starting to get there. I mean, their midfield three, if it's going to be Joel Linton, Guimaraes and Tonali tonight, I don't know if Tonali's injured or if Lewis Miley's back in just on rotational form. And then the back four, Livramento, scary. Lewis Hall, ex-Chelsea, wasn't he? Dan Burn, 6'7". Malik Thiaw gets a couple of goals from set pieces. Even if Fabian Schär's playing, so Tonali's not injured now. He came off the bench. They've got a good bench as well, haven't they? Joe Willock's a good player. Jacob Ramsey's a good player. Gordon's a sensational player. I don't know if Anthony Gordon. I don't know why. If Sniffer's still there, I need to find out why it is that Gordon's been dropped. Is it just on form for Harvey Barnes because you can't play both of them? I'm not sure. But Everton's team really so. This is another one. Everton team have kind of leveled up, but they still have a pretty average bench, don't they? But he's the one we want. I'd love to get him. Jack Grealish as well. Would you guys take Jack Grealish at the end of the season if it's not made permanent? Would you, if we don't get a left winger in the January, if we for whatever reason we can't get one done, would you guys still take Jack Grealish? Oh, Gordon's been injured, has he? Cheers, Sniffer. Tonali's fine as well. Drinking the special brew. Yeah. I'm just about halfway through my first can of Stella. Oh, yeah. Gordon's had no goal or assist in the Premier League since in a calendar year. In a calendar year, Foxy. Yeah. So you don't think of it. I don't watch Newcastle as closely as you guys do. I wasn't aware of that. But he's a class player. I would take him in a heartbeat. Would Newcastle be willing to sell him, do you think, Foxy? And if so, or Sniffer, what's the sort of valuation? I'm sure he'd still be like 80, 90 million, wouldn't he? He'd fit right in at Spurs then, yeah. Oh, Ellie's here. Big up, Ellie. Big up, Sean, honey. Yes, I feel we can recover, but it has to be a collective fans, players, and manager pulling together and fighting for a badge on that pitch and give their all. 100%. But like I said, I don't think it's possible, Ellie, to like ask 60,000 fans to all agree to behave a certain way. Like, when was the last time 60,000 people ever agreed on anything? You know, there's always going to be pockets of people that are, especially like drunk, like on a Saturday night, 9 o'clock in the evening, been drinking all day. They go to watch the game and then you're 2-0 down after 7 minutes. If they expect the fan base just to go, come on, you Spurs, like, get with the real world. Get with the real world. You're serving up shit. You're making mistakes. We haven't won in ages since the first game of the bloody season. We haven't won at home. We won 4 games all year. We've never had more league defeats at home in a single calendar year in our history. And the players and the manager think that it's the fans that should be the catalyst for change. No. You need to corral 11 people. That's what you're paid to do, Thomas Frank. I understand that there's absolutely no benefit in Tottenham fans booing, right? Like, you're supposed to be the 12th man, but what you're really doing is helping the opposition by getting on the backs of your own players. I get the logic that it doesn't help anyone, but you're always going to have pockets of people that just feel like they're pissed off, right? They're angry with what they're seeing, and they're gonna vent out. And there's other people that wouldn't boo unless other people booed. And then as soon as they hear the booing, they kind of get on board it because it's herd mentality, sheepish behavior. They wouldn't do it. You know, if everybody else was cheering, they'd be cheering. If everyone was booing, they'd be booing. There's loads of those sorts of people in life. So you're never going to, first of all, you're never going to get everybody to agree on anything, but you can get 11 people to agree, right? That we have to be the catalyst, that these guys that we're playing in front of, we get paid more in a day than some of them do in a whole year. And that we're supposed to be, like, the only reason we're getting paid is because of these people. There's performance expectations. If they can get that into their mindset, rally, lift, put in a good shift, entertain us, and hopefully get a couple of good results, the fan base will get behind them 100%. The fan base will turn. Go and win 3 home games on the bounce, and the fans will be right behind you again. Like, Newcastle United are the template. Newcastle United fans are incredible, but they win at home. They're shit away. No disrespect, Foxy and Sniff. No disrespect, guys. But you're not the same outfit away from home as you are at home. At home, you've got the corral of the crowd. But at Tottenham, it's working against each other, right? It's like magnets that are you know, opposite forces. It's repelling. But someone's got to switch the magnet around and then move towards the other pole, and it will snap together, and then we can all be a force. We can all move together in the right direction. But it has to start with the players. They have to give you a reason to cheer, not just expect it and then blame the fans and talk about the fans when really every single comment from the players should be about their performance, not about the fans. Like, the fans should be an irrelevant part of their analysis. Should be completely irrelevant. When they put in a performance, we can get behind them. But, like, you can ask 11 people to do their job more than 60,000 people to fake positivity on this idea of unconditional support, regardless of what you put out. And then if the performance is dog shit, lean into the fans being the problem. It's one of these things. Not me. It's bollocks. On you first. It's on you to start it. We'll be there when you deliver. We will be there for you. But you've got to show us what you're made of. Couple of super chit chats. Big up to our futures bright, futures lily white. Chew to you. Chew to you, mate. Thank you very much indeed, dude. Appreciate you very much indeed. El Danterino, member for 19 months, over a year and a half. You've been listening to my waffle. Coys, all my best to all here. Thank you all. Appreciate you, El Dante. I hope you're okay, my man. Appreciate you, bud. And Paul Petty is also in the house with a super sticker as well. Big up to you, Paul. Choo to you, my man. Choo to you. The super sticker train is well and truly off and running. Daniel Field as well. Big up to you, Daniel. Another super sticker. Appreciate you as well, mate. Thank you so much, guys. Appreciate you. It's been. Bet Sean is swimming in the clunge. I don't know where that's come from. If clunge is the same word as I used to think it went when I was in my younger years, I don't know where that's come from. Isn't that? I don't know what to say about that. Big up to you though, Ligma. Big up to you, Ligma Bossack. Ligma Bossack. Is that like a play on words? Well-articulated viewpoint, Sean. Now, what were these ramblings about the deep state and aliens? Have you seen the video about the age of disclosure? I haven't actually seen the video yet, but apparently like 40 different politicians or whatever are now saying, they're all going, yeah, aliens are real. Aliens are real. So, but yet no one's talking about it. Personally, I think it's all a big psyop to do the fake alien invasion. You know. Sean, is Helga coming for Christmas? If she is coming, it's not me that's making her. Probably some Viking somewhere having a good time. Only banter, bro. You're always good value on here. Appreciate you, mate. Appreciate you. Lick my ball sack. Yeah, that's all that. Yeah, very good. Very good. Hi, Sean. Sorry it's been discussed already, Gavin, as I have only just dropped in, but have you watched the Overlap show on Frank? I haven't seen it. No, I haven't seen it. I'll check it out this afternoon, maybe if I've got a little bit of time between walking the dogs and that. Thomas Frank is an alien. I don't think he's enjoying being at Tottenham. I don't think he's enjoying being a Tottenham manager. And that's, again, part of the issue, right? I genuinely feel like if we were to chop him up now, chop up his contract, that sounded weird. If we were to chop up his contract, I don't know where you go. I don't know where you go. No idea. Have I just joined the conspiracy? No, someone just asked a question. Guys, once again, if you enjoy fun, if you enjoy a little bit of just weird and crazy banter, then subscribe to this bad boy. It's the Rabbit Hole Ramblings. It's my newest channel. It's the most fun thing I do. I actually prefer it to talking about Tottenham, to be entirely honest. And go and check out the video about foreign accent syndrome. It's fucking hilarious, bro. It's hilarious. What was I going to say? Yeah. Georgie likes it as well. Everyone seems to love it. Big up to you, Adam. How you doing, mate? Good to see you. I'm okay, my man. I'm okay. I'm always okay when the first beer. I'm tired though because I didn't get to bed last night until gone 12 because of the late show we do on a Monday night, and then I have to get up at like 5:15, 5:30 on a Tuesday. I'll take some calls and do some work, and then take the dog out and all this shit, and then so I'm a little bit kind of tired and stuff. But I feel like I've done a day's work already. But it's another late day today, isn't it? Right, 8 o'clock. The game's on at 8, and then you got a debrief afterwards. So it's going to be another late one. So my team tonight, guys, my team tonight would be, I probably would stick with the 4-4-2 or the 4-1-2-1-2, whatever. I'm okay with Richalison and Mwani carrying on. I think that both of them are doing enough to warrant their place. I think Kudus deserves to carry on. And so I'd swap Jed Spence in for Porro. I'd keep Udogie, Van der Ven, bring Romero back in. And then the other three midfielders, I would probably go for Polinia, and then probably maybe Bentancur and Berghvall, or Sarr and Berghvall, or Sarr and Bentancur. I don't really mind, but that's how I'm going for it. But I still don't think it will be enough. But I just want to see us have a bit of fight, and then we can sort of at least look forward to Brentford and think we're not on the tail end of an absolute crap. I'd take a point. I always say I'm not like interested in points really. I don't think they help anyone really, but I'd bite your hand off for a point right now. You know, get a point on the board. Get that'll be a good result. I think most people would say we were like at the start of the season before we saw any of the shit that's happened. I think most people would say Newcastle away, a draw is a good result, and then we can hopefully build for Brentford. But as I say, if he gets turned over tonight. And then you've got Mark Robins, right? Is Robins, isn't it? The Brentford manager, who's going to be so up for beating up on Thomas Frank. They're going to have some sort of insights into the way that he sets his teams up. It's going to be a difficult game against Brentford. It shouldn't be. Brentford at home, you should be winning them every time. But this season, it's not the way. Is YouTube your full-time job? No. I mean, it kind of is, as much as I spend a lot of time doing it. But in terms of, is it my only income sources? No, I've got a few other things going on. Keith Andrews, not Mark Robins. Who the fuck is Mark Robins? Keith Andrews, that's it. Who the fuck is Mark Robins? Where did I get that from? Who the fuck is Mark Robins? Mark Robins. He's the manager of Stoke City. Where the fuck did I get Mark Robins from? Keith Andrews, that's who I meant. Sorry. I don't know where I got the Stoke. Where did I get the Stoke from? That's crazy. Although if Stoke came to town right now, I'd be pretty concerned because they look a little bit busy. I've only had quarter of a can of Stella, Biggie. I've had a quarter of a can, mate. You have to put like a tank through me to be able to get me drunk or to get me proper sloshed. When you guys have seen me proper sloshed on channels, like when I go onto Sabba's pissed out of my face and that, you have to like. I've been when I'm in that scenario, I've had enough to sink a battleship. You know, quarter of a can doesn't do nothing to me, bro. Sure, preparing for the championship with Mark Robins. Jesus Christ. Do you know what? Like, have you seen that XG? So there's the table, right, of XG versus XGA, and when it's netted off, where you would sit. And obviously it doesn't reflect the actual table because some of the XG versus XGA can all happen in the same game. And so it can mean like you can get ahead of your XG or behind, but you still, you know, it's all caught up in one particular performance. And so it doesn't represent. But overall, the XG versus XGA table always seems to be the table always regresses to that table in the end. And when you look at Tottenham's position on that particular table right now, we're 17th. We're 17th again. Big concern. Yeah, guys, I'm going to be over on Football Inc. in half an hour, 37 minutes. And I haven't done any of the setup for it yet. So I'm going to go and get ready for that now. Have a shower, freshen up, brush my teeth a bit more, and crack open another beer. I want to say a massive thank you to all of you who always come and join. There's 500 people here. Please do smash the like. As I said before, check you're still subscribed. Every time you look on the channel, by the way, just double check you're still subscribed. And we will... yeah, so on par with last year, mate. And, you know, we apparently fixed the foundations, right? We haven't, so it's important. I am live tonight, Matthew. Yeah, I'm live tonight, guys. So if you want to come over and watch the watch along here, I'll be live. I'm not going to go live like at 7 o'clock, an hour and 15. I'll probably go live at like 7:45 or something. So if you want to go and check out any other channels, obviously to fill the gap. But if you want to watch it with me, I'd love to see you. At sort of 7:45, and I'll see you over on the Football Inc. in. Let me just give you, if you guys don't know, here's the Football Inc. link. There you go. Here's the show. Oh, here's the. Hang on, actually, I'll put the show for you. I haven't even set it up yet, have I? There you go. That's why I can't find it. But the Football Inc. will be there in a second. So here's the link. If you haven't gone, please go and subscribe to that as well. And we will see. Cheers, Geezy. Appreciate that. Get down the rabbit hole with us on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Well, not tonight. So tomorrow it's Wednesday. And get over to Football Inc. See you in about half an hour, guys. Appreciate you all. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, bye-bye.